What's going on, Internet? Robert Bain here. Been talking to quite a few folks, a lot of younger lifters, talking about what their goals are, aspirations, and it's really fun. Like, I don't coach anybody, but I certainly will give out pointers, advice. My son lifts, and so I give him a lot of insight on not just lifting and getting strong, but also like longevity and uh, being able to do lifting and strength and powerlifting you so desire for a very extended period of time. And when I say that, I'm talking 20, 30, 40 years, because there are people that are able to do that. You may not do it at an elite level, but you're still able to do it, and it's super fun. It's great. But one thing I hear a lot from people who are not necessarily on the fence, but they very much get confused, or they're losing sight of what their goals are, is they listen to the noise. There's a lot of noise out there, and the noise sometimes comes from very well-meaning people. Now, there may be some parents that hear this. I'm a parent as well. I got 4 kids. I got a granddaughter. So I understand some of these feelings that parents and family have. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get your hopes up. Do you really want to look like that? My favorite is at holidays. Are you allowed to eat that? And so I think it's an important thing for you, the athlete, to understand what people have access to and what they don't. And what that means is, do they have access to your goals, your mindset, your desires? You don't have to give that to anybody. You don't. You honestly don't have to answer those questions. Some people may find that off-putting and they may not like that. But again, if they're not going to support it or be a part of it, they don't necessarily deserve access. Caveat to that. Many times these statements, you don't want to get hurt, I don't want to see you get your hopes up and then get discouraged. I can't imagine doing that. Like, all these come from a place of misguided love, because they don't want to see you get hurt. No one wants to see anybody hurt. It sucks. I'm going to tell you this. If you do this sport for an extended period of time, it is not a question of if, it is when you get hurt. And that's when you hit a crossroads. If you have to go under the knife for this game, is it that is the stopping point, or that is where I evolve and learn more about my body and about how to recover and how to prevent these things? So it's an important piece, an important threshold. You don't want to rush to it, but you don't want to shy away from it. So now, this also happens with some of my female friends, where they'll get other comments. I'm not going to repeat all those. It's not my place. I've certainly heard it said about my daughter. I heard it said about my girlfriend. I heard it said to their friends. It's troubling to hear that kind of stuff. But again, it comes from a place of misguided love. These people are not bad. They do want, I believe, what is best for you, the athlete, but they don't have the context that you do. Case in point, you're getting ready for an event and you want to look nice. You're going to a friend's wedding and your suit doesn't quite fit the way that it used to. Happens. Trust me, happens to me all the time. And if you're not prepared for that conversation of, hey, like, why don't you have your jacket on? Why does your shirt sit a little differently on you? That can be kind of troubling. So this is to the athlete, and also I'm going to give some advice to those people. Feel free to send this video to them. They may or may not watch it, but whatever. Once they hear that misguided love, a lot of them are going to turn it off. But again, ultimately, I want to help folks understand. Because we are a niche sport, most folks don't get it. They don't understand what we do. They don't understand the additional time outside of the gym with your meal prep and your food, with your sleep and recovery that it takes. And so because of that, they will see something in a silo of either a video or something they heard somewhere. They've heard the science and they believe they understand. And again, it's not bad. It's just misguided. So when someone may say those things to you, say, hey, this is all part of the process. Like, I'm getting stronger and stuff's going to fit weird. I wanted to be here because I want to support XYZ, whether it is a family member, a friend, whomever. And to be frank, how my clothes sit on my body is not important for this event, nor is it any of your business. That may not be your style, but that's the concept. You can defend these positions and not attack somebody by simply saying, hey, I'm working towards this. Are you allowed to eat this? Yeah. I am. You know why? Because I'm a grown-ass man. I can do what I want. I'm not free from the consequence of it, but I can do what I want. The comments of, do you want to look like that? Or, I would never do that. That's fine. I'm not asking you to. I appreciate you're trying to relate to me in some way, but ultimately, I'm not going to try to convince you because you're not going to be convinced. If you truly wanted to be, you would ask me questions. So, understand that. Understand kind of what's being said when it's being said. It's not always the words that are being said. Now, if you've made it this far and you are one of these family members, friends, people that maybe got this video sent to you and were told, hey, hear this guy out. This is sometimes how I feel. These people want your support. I have dealt with this with my family, with my parents, with extended family, with my children, with my ex, with a lot of different people who they didn't quite understand what I was trying to do, what I was trying to accomplish. And that's fine. I don't ask anyone to go in my head. I wouldn't wish that evil on anybody. So, here's what you can do. Even if you have been in the gym before, you may not necessarily understand what they are trying to accomplish. So ask, hey, you're doing this lifting thing. How does what you're doing play into what you're doing here in front of us? As in, what are you eating? Hey, I know you're doing the lifting stuff. Your clothes fit a little different. How's that feeling? Is that you can ask questions to get understanding. And the biggest reason I tell people to do that, and again, that is effort. That is tough. That is not autopilot. And that's where people miss the mark, is they don't want to do that. They don't want to take that extra time because it's more difficult. It's more work. But also, shame on you if you're the person that says, I don't want you to get your hopes up. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't think you should look like that. I would never do that. And that discourages a person who was very, very excited about what they were doing. And now, because you have a place in their life that you have earned, because again, you may be a parent, you may be a mentor, you may be somebody that they care about quite a bit, you have now discouraged them and put them in a place where they don't want to continue. You don't have that right. You don't. And you can sit here and you find me, you can argue this all you want till you're blue in the face. Just like I don't have the right to tell my kids, don't do that, don't do this. I'll give them the vision of what I see it could turn out as, and let them make a decision. The only person I've got a right to tell what to do is me, and vice versa. The only person you have a right to tell what to do is you. Your adult children can make their own decisions. Your adult friends can make their own decisions. And if it is challenging for you to accept that, that's fine. Ask more questions. One of the things that people that get into this sport that drives them and pushes them further is when people just want to understand. My parents want nothing to do with what I do for training, with how I live my life when it comes to the gym, with my dietary habits. They want nothing to do with that. But you know what? They're proud as hell of their kid. They're excited when they see the numbers. They can't fathom it, but they're excited when they see it. And man, sure as hell, my dad loves showing off for his friends. My kid's stronger than yours. So, yeah, does it take work? Absolutely. I've been doing this stuff for over a decade, and there are people doing it a lot longer. But if you are one of those family members, or if you're one of these athletes that maybe is getting some of this feedback, understand this is not because people don't like you, or they don't like powerlifting, they don't like the gym. They might not. There's always a chance of that. It is because they don't understand. They've not been around it. Think back to what got you passionate, what got you excited about it. And you can frame it as, hey, maybe ask me why I want to do this. Yes, I understand there are some cultural norms that come into this of people aren't supposed to do this, ladies aren't supposed to do this, and that's fine. You're not necessarily going to break that in a single conversation. But also, you have the right to stand your ground. Just like you might when it comes to a partner, when it comes to a profession, all those things. This is all part of it, because ultimately, like, this is your life. You build it as you want to. Because ultimately, when you have to answer to whatever higher power you believe, it's not going to be your mom and dad sitting next to you. It's not going to be your partner. It's going to be nobody else but you. Are you going to look back on it and say, that was a life well lived? So, again, to the athletes, stand your ground. To the family members, to the people that may get this that aren't the athletes that are told, hey, listen to this guy. Again, they want you to support them. They do. Trust me, there is nothing better than seeing Carol Bain, my mom, out in the crowd. Nothing better than that. And so they want you to be there. But also take the time, understand what they're trying to do. And like I said, if you don't agree with it, that's fine. It's also not your right to tell them what not to do. So, love you guys. See you soon.